What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here. You can call me Irish, and today I'm doing something a bit different. As you can see here, my beautifully purple S14 is being displayed perfectly, and that's what I'm going to show you. Basically, I've not done anything like this before, but I'm basically going to show you my main actual car. Like if you were to say, pick out your one and only car, we're going to delete all the rest of your cars. Pick one that you're going to keep. This is it. People might not know, but that that I have a main car and that it is an S14, because usually in battles I use an R33 or an R32, sorry, because it's a Skyline and it does well in battles. And in public lobbies I try to just mix it up and use different cars like as much as possible. So I don't bring it out too often, but for as long as I can remember, like back in the early days of Forza 3 when I first started playing, the S14 was like my main car, just because I loved them in real life and because they are like really good drifters. So what I was planning to do, my plan for this video is very loosely just to kind of show it off. So I guess I'll start with the kind of stats, or whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it. It's S-Class, S-Class 625 PI. Damn it, that was that was hard to say. Obviously rear wheel drive, front engine, power 568, perfect. It's not gonna keep up with like the top end Skylines that people and Supras and stuff that people have out there, but it's good enough. It's more than good enough for like pub lobbies and stuff. 418 foot-pounds of torque, again, plenty, perfect. Well, only weighs 2,500 pounds, just under 2,500 pounds, so it's not like it's a big hefty beast. And then the weight distribution is 53% in the front, and that's perfect again. You don't want quite 55 or anything more than that, and you don't want exactly 50% in my opinion. You want some kind of like a little bit of weight in the front there. So 53 is about perfect, and then it's 2.4 litre displacement. Right, so I'll go into the kind of the upgrades. So my upgrading kind of mentality and stuff has been developed over like the course of the 2 years that I've played it, or well, the two games that I've played over the space of what, maybe 3 years or so. I'm not 100% certain, but more or less since the start of Forza 3, I've basically been learning different ways and different techniques. So it's always evolving, but the one that I've settled on now is what I'll show you. So in this car, in my main car, I've got the S15 or SR20 swap. Didn't go for. I wanted to change from the stock engine because it's just not quite good enough, and then the R34 engine is too much. So the S15 is like Goldilocks. It's just perfect. So drivetrain swap. Sorry, obviously not necessary. So for the body kit, the Ings kit to me the Ings front bumper just looks the best. It's the best of a bad situation in my opinion, because it's not particularly amazing in itself, but it's the best out of the ones that we get. I would really love some like Rocket Bunny or Navin or Supermate or something like that to get into the next game. Just some other options. So then you've got the wing. Usually I roll with the dual-look wing on my car, on my S14s, but for something just completely different, I just decided to use the big wing. I switched recently. My car in Forza 3 and all had the dual-look wing, and it was painted the same kind of purple and stuff, but I've gone with the Ings again. The reason I like it is because the standoff things, the mounts for it are far apart. If they were right beside each other, like I think it's this trial one, no, yeah, that's hideous. That is just rice-a-rooney, whatever you want to call it. So the Ings one, for it being a big wing, it's just about perfect. And again, Ings C West is also acceptable. I like the C West one, but I have Ings on it right now. I might switch to the C West one actually. Although I think that might be glitchy. I think that might be the reason why I took it off. But either way, yeah, so running Ings all around and Ings side skirts. So yeah, I like the is it Ings or INGS? I'm not sure, but either way, yeah, I'm running them all around. That just looks the best to me. The car is heavily inspired by Matt Powers, as you might be able to tell. I used to have the Illumina screen matching the logos in these, which is like the Matt Powers Gram lights, kind of closest thing that we have to it in the game, that he used on his car year before last year he switched the track lights to the Motegi track lights. So yeah, those ones I used to roll them, but I decided to go for a change because I've been rolling them for about 2 years. So at one point I did, or no, not in this car, I didn't have those. At one point I did have what wheels was it? Yeah, the welds. So this was when I first really like built this car in Forza 3. I had these wheels on it, and it looked sick. When you slammed it in the photo in the Lawrence glitch spots, with these wheels, it looked amazing with the deep dish and the chrome and all that. But again, they kind of wear out on you after a while. And the wheels that I'm liking right now, as you've seen already so far, these OZ Superleggera 3 forged. So they're deep dish. They've got spokage, which I like, and they're just all around nice wheels. I went with the black. I usually match my logos to my wheels and stuff like that. It comes off looking pretty cool. But for this one, for these wheels in particular, these OZ wheels, I decided to go with the black. And again, no particular reason. I just think it looks cool. So I think that's it for the style aspect. Alright, so we'll go with tires. So as I'm upgrading, I used to run sport tires. I run street now. Sport is just a little too grippy. Obviously, if you're running something stupid like a 1,000 horsepower Skyline or something like that, yeah, you're probably going to want sports. But I found that street gives the best results. Again, it's a mixture of what I've found through testing and just stuff that I've learned from other people. So sometimes I won't have an exact reason for why I use the upgrades that I use, because it would have just been something that somebody else has told me that I've learned through them. So yeah, for street tires, I was basically told, and it's a combination of the two. I was told that they have the best effect, and I found that to be the case. So yeah, always just with the widest rear tire, because even being the widest, it's only, what is that, 245s, so it's not huge. And then a lot of people maybe upgrade their front tires a little bit. Oops, sorry, hit the microphone there a bit. A lot of people upgrade their front tires kind of a little, like I said, a little bit, but I just kind of tend to keep them stock. I don't know, no particular reason. I'm sure bumping it up 1 or 2 wouldn't hurt, but I just personally like to keep it stock. And then finally, the wheels are, what, 18 inches? Yeah, so anything else is too small, anything less is too small, anything more is too big in my opinion. So obviously, all the drivetrain upgrades will be race, just faster gear shifts for the win. Then brakes, obviously race brakes, race weight reductions, or weight. I'm thinking of will it drift. Race springs and dampers, all of this race, of course, and race weight. So into the actual engine mods, right? So race air filter, race fuel system, race ignition, and race exhaust. So these first 4, you always want to be like just maxed out. No reason not to, just do that. Then when it comes to camshafts, they can either be too much or they can be too little. If I was to leave this stock here, the car would have no horsepower whatsoever. If I was to pump it up all the way, the power and torque curve would just be too much, and that it's just not what I'm looking for. And also the horsepower would go up to 620, which again, not what I'm looking for. So again, sport camshafts is perfect for what I'm looking for personally. It gives the best kind of power increase. It go like anything like less than this is 522 horsepower, and that's not quite enough for me. So 568 from the bringing it up to the point where I can get the car to 568 with the sport camshafts is perfect. Valves again, race displacement, and race pistons and compression. Again, no reason not to. It's all good. It takes the weight down and stuff in some of the cases, I believe. Yep, takes the weight down, so why not? Sport single turbochargers, just because without it, it's only 499 horsepower. So I don't usually like to run turbos because they do mess up with the power and torque curves a bit, but it's not too bad in this case actually. So, and again, it brings it up from 499 to 600 or to 568. That's a big horsepower increase. Like, so moving on then, I used to upgrade these. To race. The way I used to do things, I would like do these to like sport and street and stuff like that, not upgrade these all the way. But then I realized that these actually add weight. Like, these add on weight, which you don't want, and the horsepower gains aren't huge. So I would advise leaving them stock and then race flywheel, just because it saves weight pretty much. So that would be the build as far as the tune goes. So I'm sure a lot of you are probably interested now. Often in my Will It Drift episodes, I mention the fact that I'm not a great tuner, so you can decide for yourselves as you see it now. What do you think about tunes? Do let me know if you are, if you consider yourself a good tuner. Please do let me know what you think. So, I found that to get consistently 30, I was gonna say frames per second, FPS, 30 psi, while like mid-run drifting kind of thing, at peak speeds and like peak actual like performance. To get 30 psi, 27.5 in the front, 23.5 in the rear is perfect. It gets to exactly inside the 30 psi thing. If you're looking in your, what do you call it, telemetry, when you're drifting, when you're testing your car and building your car out. So I found them to be the perfect numbers. Now, Edmard, I believe, did a post a couple of months ago on the forums saying something along the lines of 410 final drive works with Nissan certain engines or something like that. It could have been Toyota. I don't know. I don't remember why, but it stuck in my head. 410 final drive is usually like a good starting point for your final drive. So that's what I've like taken on board. Again, I used to do it differently. I used to use like 3 point something or something or other. But right now, what I found to works for me and gives me good results for the gear and ratios and stuff, 410 is working absolutely fine. So it's just about halfway. Like it's just about halfway between speed and acceleration. So again, it's perfect. What I usually do is go for third gear. I'd like to keep it on C111, the very middle line, the line above the middle one. Third gear, I like to be somewhere around there. So if you can, what I usually do is put third gear's ratio to about there, and then adjust the other ones. Sometimes fourth gear will be closer, just to depending on the track and stuff like that. But right now, that's the ratio more or less that I'm working on. I'm just gonna back out so it'll reset them. Okay, so onto the alignment. Right, so a lot of people don't know this, but having too much camber, too much toe, too much caster, or not enough, vice versa, having positive camber, etc., it like really affects your speeds. Like if you're running -5 camber, it's really affecting the speed that you're getting. So what I've found out through work with my old team PD, as my gamer tag is PD Irish, my co-leader in that, Rennie, he kind of like, we went through a testing thing where we were like, well, what's like the kind of optimal results? And what we found, maybe again, we aren't the best tuners by any means. He's a lot better than I am, in fairness. Excuse me. He's a lot better than I am. I'm not the best tuner at all. But he was the one to basically realise that about 1.5 in the front, minus 1.5 degrees in the front, -1 in the rear, is about optimal for speed. For getting angle, for like a good mixture of angle and speed. 0.5 degrees out front toe. Again, it's just from the testing that we found. I know people run different settings, etc., but that's what we found to be the best. And then I used to run maximum 7 caster, but again, we found that through the testing and stuff like that, 4.5 was about right. So that's my current setup anyway for this car. Anti-roll bars, I'm running off old numbers. There used to be maths that you could do for the springs and stuff and the anti-roll bars. It was something to do with like take the maximum stiffness, remove the minimum, divide it by the weight distribution or something like that. It's on the Forza forums. If you go onto Forza Motorsport.net and you look up what's his name now, Apex Walker's drift guide for tuning competitions, he does a really good guide, and like I used to use his maths for like all the springs and stuff like that. But I kind of noticed that I was getting the same general results all the time. It was always about maybe 23 for anti-roll bars. It was between 23 and maybe 18, 19. So anywhere around there is what I go for. So I just kind of keep it in that ballpark and fidget around with it while I'm testing and building the car. And they're the numbers that I've come up with for this one that I like. Again, just back out so I refresh it. And then it's the exact same thing in the front. Anywhere between, maybe, depending on the car, obviously, for a Silvia, I found that maybe 600, something like a Skyline, I think, off the top of my head, about 600 or so in the front. A little bit less than that. Closer to 700 in the front, closer to 500 in the back. Or sorry, closer to 600 in the back. Maybe just below 600, top end of 500s in the back would be good. But for a Silvia, and particularly for this car, you'll see it when I'm testing it out, that this car is loose but good. I don't know exactly how to describe it. I'll move on. But they're the settings that I found work the best for this car. Again, slam it all the way down as much as possible, even though it's not a lot in Forza. And yeah, according to Apex Walker's guide that I learned from, once you've got your front and rear rebound stiffness, your bump stiffness should be roughly half. So it's not actually half, I don't think, but it's close enough. So they're just the numbers that I've got for that. Yeah, so no aero. Braking, I usually just bump it up. It starts at 100, as you probably know. I just bump it up a little bit. No big science behind it. And then finally for differential, I just lock it 100 and 100. No reason not to. So that's my tuning method. Again, if you liked it, if you thought it was good, let me know. If you thought it was bad and I'm an awful tuner and I could be getting so much more performance out of my cars, please do let me know. I love that camera angle, the way it zooms up into the side. But I suppose I'll take you a look at a quick look at my paint job before we go in. It's all my logos. I've made all of these. I don't like having locked. For some reason, I'm OCD about it. I don't like having locked logos on my cars. For some reason, some of them were sent to me. I believe these vents here were sent to me by somebody ages ago back in Forza 3 that I don't remember. So if you watch, I do apologize. They are yours. But yeah, so what I did with this car was I added these kind of front things. There was a car that I seen in real life that was actually the spitting image of my car. Like the spitting image of this car in real life. And he had these like cutout things in his front bumper. So I stuck those on, Nitto logo. On the side, I tried to do my own body kit. I really am not a good body kit painter. I don't mind the front. The front isn't too bad. It looks alright. But the back, I just don't know what I was thinking. I think you can kind of get the idea that I was going for here, but it's not. I'm not a good painter at all, so it's not great. The logos that I went with, I actually spent a long time making that Irish Gunner HD logo because I just thought it'd be cool to have. The YouTube, yeah, it's a bit much. It's a little overkill, but sure, why not? When I'm in public lobbies and I end up getting in some good tandem runs with some guy, if he goes and searches me, hello, hi, how you doing? So yeah, again, like I said earlier on in the video, the car is very Mad Powers inspired. So Mishimoto, ACT, Nitto tires and stuff, and then Speed Hunters. I know he's not sponsored by them anymore, but he was, and I do love the website. I actually am a big follower of Speed Hunters. Check it every day, really good website. But for the top, we have a carbon roof and a carbon bonnet with some like awful vents that I don't think look realistic at all, but why take them away? I like them. And again, the sponsorship logos on each kind of blade of the hood vent, so that's pretty cool. Excuse me. Right side is the same as the left, except I've gone with a kind of, I crashed my car and I had to replace it with a not yet painted replacement front quarter panel fender thing. So that's why that's grey. It's not. I'm not just weird and just decided to paint it grey. I wonder if that comes across when people see my cars. Did they go, part of his car is just grey? Yeah, I was going for the whole, just crashed my car, had to just stick on a replacement front quarter thing look, that missile rat look thing. Okay, moving on. Really awesome play here. This was sent to me by somebody, again in Forza 3. I apologise, I do not remember. But I edited it so that the Hella Flush thing, which I don't like, I know, Hella Flush, don't go mad. Might put the Irish Gunner HD down in there, but I changed the colours of the Hella Flush logo to be green, white and orange. And then obviously it says S14. The one that I was sent said R34, I believe. And then, yeah, that's about it for the looks. The standoff things for the spoiler are matching the logos, which I think is a nice touch. And that's about it. Won't save any changes in case I've made any changes I don't like, but given that Long Beach is just around the corner, it's later on tonight, I think I will just mess around on that section while I talk about how the car feels and handles and stuff. The video is going to be kind of long, as you've probably noticed so far, but I don't think I could have done it any shorter. And I think people would like to see like the whole kind of walkthrough of like one of my cars, because I think it's Aero does a series, Mr. Aero HD. He does a series called Personal Projects, I believe, and that like, I'm not biting his idea. I was not even thinking of that when I thought of showing you guys this car, but then it came into my head afterwards. But yeah, like that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. I don't know how he edits this because I've never actually seen an episode of it, but I couldn't think of any way to edit it to make it kind of shorter, other than just kind of doing it live, which I hope you've guessed by now I am doing it. This is live, and excuse me, I didn't take a drink before I did this, so my throat's pretty dry. But yeah, so I was mentioning while I was talking about the tuning that the car is loose, but it's controllable, and I don't know how to describe that without you actually sitting here and taking the wheel and trying it out. It's like, have you ever seen a drift car that squats? It feels like the back end is really soft and it's like pushing down into the road. that's kind of what this feels like. It's kind of, when I pull the handbrake, it's like it can it feels like it could backwards entry really easily. I don't think I've ever tried or tested it too much as to whether it actually can, but I think it would be able to, because it has that feeling of just like bounciness but controllability. That was an awful entry, my bad. But yeah, it's just, oh, that was terrible, really bad. The car is better than this. It's hard. Believe it or not, the car is actually able to drift. I'm just not, because I'm trying to multitask and talk and remember things and drive at the same time, which is quite difficult if you've never tried to do it. But one thing that I don't like about it, sorry, is the fact that you'll notice that even when I'm in fourth gear, it still kind of bounces off the limiter a lot, which I don't really like. I'd rather have the gear be a bit longer, but I think I mainly tuned this on Succuba short, so that was probably what. Come on, what is wrong with me? Can't drift for crap. Right, so what's gonna happen is, if you enjoyed this video, I do have other kind of main cars. I do apologise that the actual drifting demonstration has been suckish, but yeah, if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more on some of my other cars, because I do have a few cars that I like, they wouldn't be my main cars. This is my like pride and joy, my absolute love of all time in Forza games, this S14, or like ones like this that I've had in other games. Damn it, I let off the accelerator when I shouldn't have. Little wall tap. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments or whatever, or like leave a thumbs up, whichever way you want to let me know. Oh, that was a bit wide. And I'll do some other ones. I've got like an R32 that I really like I mentioned. You might have seen that in my battle video. That's a really fun car. I've got other cars that I would be more than happy to show off the same way I did with this one. But just let me know. I'll probably do one more run to try and see if I can actually show you guys what this car is capable of. Some of you actually might even know. I have used it in public lobbies, and I remember like drifting with people that I know watch my videos with this car. So you've probably seen what it can, or what it can and what I can't do already. So again, the car is brilliant. Just sometimes I'm not quite on it, or like I'm not in the right frame of mind to be drifting. So come on. I see the car is perfect. The car has no problems. The car's laughing at me now, just being like, come on, that's all you have? And I'm just like, I can't. I'm afraid I'll spin you. Like that. Okay, sorry. So I'm not able to do it. I can't drift right now, but I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching the video, and goodbye.